recently, Tracy Ellis Ross hosted an event where Michelle Obama was a keynote speaker. And they talked about, of course, her time as being first lady, and also a little bit about this idea of a woman becoming president of the United States. And Michelle Obama said something that I think is sending waves out there among the masses. And there was obviously something that really stood out to me that Michelle Obama is avoiding as to part of the reason why Kamala Harris lost. Let's go ahead and get into this conversation. Again, this is Tracy Ellis Ross here hosting this event where Michelle Obama has talked about her time as first lady, or how she feels about fashion, beauty, all those types of things. And then it gets to this question about a woman president. Listen to this.
Do you think that that impacts the room that we've made for a woman to be president?
Well, as we saw in this past election, sadly, we ain't ready. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time. You know, we got a lot of growing up to do. And there's still, I'm sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it. What was the question?
I just said,
Let me pause here for a second. So here's the thing. It's interesting because during the Democratic National Convention, Michelle Obama gave a speech there that was very powerful. And I actually said at that point in time that Michelle Obama should have been the one who was running instead of Kamala Harris. And listen, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm registered no party affiliate. I voted third party. But I'm here to tell you, I called it a while ago, and I said that Michelle Obama, in my opinion, do I think she would have won in 2024 given the climate at that time? No. But I think she would have performed better than Kamala Harris. And there's many reasons to go into that. Kamala Harris just wasn't a strong candidate. This is not new. This is something I warned people about, especially after seeing her performance in the Democratic primary in 2020. Remember, she didn't make it out of that primary. She didn't make it, most of the way in that primary, right? So I had been sounding the alarm about this. And unlike some, I actually saw Kamala Harris speak in 2020 when she came to New Hampshire. I was doing this thing at the time where I was trying to go to see as many people as possible that came to visit New Hampshire, because most of them don't come to Boston, like in Massachusetts, except for Bernie. So for Bernie, I was able to see him right here. I saw Kamala Harris speak in New Hampshire, and seeing her in person, I knew it. I said, no, she's not ready. She's just not a strong candidate, right? But I actually thought Michelle Obama would have done a better job. So it's interesting that I'm hearing her say that. What we got to break down here is this. It's easy to point out the fact that people didn't want to vote for a woman. That's the easy part. And yes, there is some truth to that. There are some people who have said to my face that they do not want a female president, that they don't feel as though a woman can lead the country. People said that to my face. This is not something that I saw online, and I've been hearing this for years. So yes, there are some people who feel that way, and it's not just men, Michelle. It's not just men. There are women who feel that way as well. But to sit here and to pretend as though the only reason why Kamala Harris didn't win is because she was a woman is disingenuous. It's disingenuous to pretend as though foreign policy had no impact on this election at all. And Michelle Obama knows that. So to me, I feel like that's the easy call out, right? It's easy to say she didn't win because she's a woman. That's the easy one to touch on. And there is some truth to that. But what that does not explain is all the people who voted for Obama, who actually were voted for Biden, who actually were calling for Biden to drop out and to let Kamala step up, and decided to change their mind because of her position with Israel. And I'm going to show you the data around that. Let's get back to the video.
We don't need to ask it again. You answered it. Femininity, wifedom.
Yeah. I mean, I think we still have growing to do in that regard. And, you know, we can see how progress can be made and things can be snatched back when it comes to us owning our power as women. But yeah, Barack and I, our marriage to me feels more traditional, that we are partners, we are equals, have always been. That's how our relationship was defined at the very beginning when we first met one another.
Yeah, so she gets into her relationship there. It's very interesting for those who do not know. I read Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, and it is just becoming. It's not becoming Michelle. I hear people say that sometimes, but I read her book. And one of the things that really stood out to me is that Michelle Obama was not fond of electoral politics. And when Barack Obama said that he wanted to run, even for the state house back at that point in Illinois, she was not in favor of it. She wasn't in favor of him running for president. And part of the reason is because, for those who are not aware, Michelle Obama was friends with one of Jesse Jackson's daughters. She talks about this in her book, and she saw everything that her family went through when Jesse Jackson was running for office, and she didn't want any part in that. Somehow along the way, Barack Obama convinced her. So that's important for people to know. Now, at that same time, we're going to go back just a little bit here before I get to that data, because I want to show you something that Michelle Obama said happened within the party when Barack was running.
Campaign trail and started attracting huge crowds and big rallies, sometimes bigger than the candidates that we were battling. And this happened in the Democratic primary. Let me be clear. These were our people who were going after me, because this started when we were running against our party. The beginning of turning me into an angry shrew who diminished her husband, who didn't love her country, who was unpatriotic. And it's like, there is absolutely no way that people who are actually seeing me in the world are seeing that. These people are lying. They are making some stuff up because they're trying to win.
Now, what she said there is important, because that started early on within the Democratic Party. So before she got those attacks from the Republican Party, she is telling you that within her own party, she was getting those attacks. That's important for people to hear. And I bring this up because of why. When we look back at 2024, since we're bringing up, the Kamala and people not ready to vote for a woman as president, it is important to remember that it was Barack Obama who did not want Kamala Harris to have that spot. This was information that was revealed later on. Some of us caught wind to it earlier, before Election Day. Barack Obama did not want Kamala Harris to be the nominee. Barack Obama wanted Gretchen Whitmer and Wes Moore, governor of Michigan, governor of Maryland. He wanted them to be the ticket. He did not want Kamala in that spot. So I have to mention this, because when she's talking about what happened to her and Barack when they were on the campaign trail, and that internal fight that they had within the Democratic Party, because Democratic leaders had pretty much decided that this was Hillary's turn. They had already picked out who they really wanted. That same dynamic happened against Kamala Harris. Don't forget, Barack Obama didn't come out and endorse Kamala Harris very quickly. It took time. And that was another thing. But all in all, this is not one of those presidential elections where we can just say it was only because someone was a woman. It was only because of the color of someone's skin. Foreign policy played a major role. And I want to show you the data on that. New poll shows Gaza was a top issue for Biden 2020 voters who cast a ballot for someone besides Kamala Harris. Let's make this a little bit larger for you so you can see here. This was the poll that was released January 15th, earlier this year, by IMEU Policy Project, and conducted by YouGov, found what few in the Democratic Party have been willing to admit. Vice President Harris lost votes because of Biden's administration's support for Israel's genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. 29% of voters nationally who voted for Biden in 2020 and cast a ballot for someone besides Kamala Harris in 2024 say ending Israel's violence in Gaza was the top issue affecting their vote choice, with the economy a close second at 24%. So when Michelle Obama says at this event that the country is clearly not ready for a female president because of what happened in 2024, it shows us that, yes, that is one part of it. There are people who do not want a female president, that don't think that a woman can lead the country. But to sit there and to pretend as though Gaza in itself was not a significant issue for many people, that is disingenuous. And a lot of people have been pushing back against this comment made by Michelle Obama on social media. Bree is one of them. I'll show you in just a second, where Kamala had this opportunity to distance herself from Biden, where she had this opportunity when she was faced with demands of calling for a ceasefire and refusing to send weapons to Israel. And interview after interview, she refused to withhold weapons from Israel. And that is because, as her own father pointed out, she belongs to big donor interest. So all of this is not because of her gender. Because the people who came out for Biden in 2020, especially the ones that are like the loyal blue dog Democrats who decided not to come out for Kamala Harris, for a lot of them, Gaza was the number one issue. And all Kamala Harris had to do was to distance herself from Biden. There was a reason why Biden was tanking in the polls, but she wouldn't do it. Now, in this book that she came out with, she said that she wouldn't do it because, well, Biden told me no daylight, kid. I don't really care what Joe Biden said. He was on his way out. It was really up to her to make that distinction, and she didn't do it. I can't tell you how many times during interviews she was questioned about withholding weapons from Israel, and she said she wouldn't do it. So Michelle Obama knows better. She's very smart. Michelle Obama is a lawyer. She went to Princeton. She knows exactly what's going on. She knows about Gaza. She knows about Palestine. At one point in time, Barack Obama used to be a supporter of Palestine. Back in the day before he became a politician. And AIPAC got their hands on him. So this is all a game. It is a failure. And listen to me. It is a failure for the Democratic Party to refuse to admit that Gaza played a role. And the reason why they don't want to admit it is because a lot of them belong to the Israeli lobby as well. They are puppets. You can see the chart here. I'll make this bigger for you to see. Here it is. When Biden 2020 voters who did not vote for Harris in 2024 were asked which one of the following issues was the most important deciding your vote, Gaza was number one. 29% ending Israel's violence in Gaza. And the fact that, and Tracy Ellis Ross, you little flaky too, boo. Because Tracy Ellis Ross knows this too. It's clear the issue played a key role in battleground states as well. Across the 6 battleground states that flipped from Biden to Trump, 20% of these voters said ending Israel's violence in Gaza was their top issue in deciding not to vote for Harris. The second most cited reason behind only the economy in the battleground states. And that's what the presidential election comes down to. It comes down to those swing states. Kamala went to Michigan and she told them that she was speaking. That was a battleground state. It's just, whether you agree with the method of protest or not, that was a battleground state. You cannot win Michigan. Democrats could not win Michigan without the Muslim votes. Now there's the Arab American vote and there's the Muslim vote. The Muslim vote was won by Jill Stein. The CARE poll shows you that. And then there's the Arab American vote. Remember, not everyone who's Arab American is Muslim, and not everyone who's Muslim is Arab American. This is something Democrats should have known, because that's how Biden was able to win Michigan back. When Trump won Michigan in 2016, Biden was able to win Michigan back for the Democratic Party because he was able to capture that voter base. So it's really strange to me. And even now on this book tour, Kamala Harris still doesn't want to deal with it. When she was confronted, even on the book tour, I'm not the president. It wasn't me. I didn't do this, da 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 da. The demands were ceasefire and withhold weapons from Israel, which you would not do. Confronted at the book tour.
Your legacy is genocide. The blood of the Palestinians is on your hands. You pledged your full support for Israel while they shot babies, while they blew babies up, while they burned Palestinians alive. Your legacy is genocide. You care more about protecting an apartheid state than defending the rights of Americans. Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
AIPAC got their hands on her very early. They got their hands on her. And I told people, here was another one here. Like I said, she was confronted multiple times.
Legacy will always be.
Your legacy is genocide!
War criminal! You know what? I am not president of the United States. You want to go to the White House and talk to him?
This is also disingenuous. People have been protesting against Donald Trump as well. Right? So this is something else that they've been doing to make it seem like, oh, we only protested against Biden and Kamala. No, that is not the case. People have also protested against Trump. However, what happened is that corporate media stopped covering it. So not wanting to be accountable. Accountability is everything. And I told you guys, politicians have to be held accountable. Not wanting to be accountable. Still, till this day. Quick and easy way she could have distinguished herself from Joe Biden. Brianna Joy Gray responded to this, of course. She retweeted that. Christopher Webb say, do you want to know why Michelle Obama won't run for president? Here it is, and she's not wrong. And that was what I showed you. Bree said, nope, skill issue. A woman can be president. We just don't like genociders or corrupt war-mongering corporate shills. There it is. For me, I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your race is. I'm looking at policy. That's how it is for me. And the Democratic Party has to come to terms with something. They have to decide if they want to continue to be this war-profiting party, just like the Republican Party, or if they want to move in a different direction. And that would mean confronting big money interests. That would mean confronting the Israeli lobby. And that's something that they don't want to do. So, Michelle, girl, I know you know. I know that you know. And the fact that you sat on that stage and you pretended like you don't know should tell everybody everything you need to know. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.